All right, so today I've got a KFI Pro Poly Plow on my Honda Pioneer 1005, and I figured I'd give you guys a quick rundown on how it's been working for me. This isn't anything fancy, it's just real use, real snow, and what I actually think of it. Install on the Pioneer was very painless, everything lined up the way that it should, and once the mount's on, the blade can come on and off very quickly. There's just some pins that you have to undo. That's nice if you're not plowing all the time and you still want to ride trails. Adjustments are very simple, and if you're running a winch or an actuator, it's easy to use even with gloves on. So let's see how this thing plows on some new snowfall here in New Brunswick. I'm using a winch here on my machine, so I can just lift it up and down with the winch. Angle adjustments on the blade are very simple. Just stop the machine, put it in park, make sure your blade's up, and you can quickly adjust it to either side. When I plow my driveway, I usually always have the blade angled, and I'll begin towards the middle of the driveway path and do multiple passes up and down the driveway, just pushing snow out to the sides. So as you can see, the snow rolls off clean, and the machine isn't fighting it, and it clears right down without being too aggressive on the gravel. For driveways, yards, and even opening up trails, it's pretty smooth and predictable. You're not constantly correcting or backing up to clear the blade. The blade itself is solid. The poly is thick, but it's got some flex to it, so if you bump something, you're not instantly bending metal. You've got a steel cutting edge on the bottom, which is what actually takes the wear. This part is replaceable, so you're not chewing up the whole blade. There's also trip springs, which are decent too. If you catch a frozen ridge or something hidden, the blade trips instead of trying to stop the whole machine dead. KFI makes these plows both in steel and poly blade. I went with the poly blade mainly because I didn't want something that was going to turn into a rusty mess after a couple of seasons. It's also lighter than steel, which you definitely notice on a side-by-side. This Pioneer pushes it with no problem at all, and it really doesn't feel like the front end is getting beat up. Another thing is that snow doesn't stick to it as badly as it would on steel, especially when it's wet, and it just actually rolls off instead of piling up. When plowing on my machine, I always make sure that I'm in low and in four-wheel drive. I've been using this plow now for 3 years, and a quick rundown of some of the pros and cons for it are things that I like. There are no rust issues. It's lighter than steel. Snow rolls really well off of the blade, and the construction feels really solid and well built. The only real downside is the cost. The poly blade costs a bit more than a basic steel blade, and if you're smashing ice all day, steel might be a better bet for you, but for the kind of plowing that I'm doing here on the driveway, the poly blade seems to perform very well. So overall, I'm really happy with this setup on the Pioneer 1005. If you're looking for a plow that's easy on your machine and just makes plowing less of a chore, this one's worth checking out. If you've got questions, drop them in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.